Start, yeah.
Okay, start. Okay, the meeting is called to order. Silent prayer. Thank you. Now I invite Dr. Rakesh, President IAP Thrissur, for the welcome address. Over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Yeah. Good evening, President Dr. Joy Manjulas, Dr. Johnny, Dr. Manoj, and colleagues, seniors, friends. So, am I audible?
Yes,
I'm audible. Yeah. So today, as we all know, the World Obesity Day, and we have the right persons to give us a thought for the day. And joining with IMA, I think it's a big thing, and it is high time that we doctors also modified our lifestyle accordingly to overcome all the diseases. We all know that, and all are in fitness, yes, but new things are coming every day. New things about diet, right from the age of 7 years, 8 years, from pediatric age group to the elderly age group. It's very, very, very important that dietary ways of managing our day-to-day life is very important. So I must thank Dr. Manoj, who actually framed this, and of course IMA, Thrissur IMA, Dr. Joy Manjulas. So I think we will all have a wonderful session. And after actually speaking, after joining with Manoj, actually nowadays I don't feel like, even if I skip a lunch or a dinner, I feel it is nothing actually. So that's one new thing which I have learned. So many a times, like we feel, before we used to feel, my God, we are missing a lunch, but now no. It's like the change that has brought within ourselves is something different. So I think it is something all have to practice. Do a good diet, a good physical exercise, the right diet, good diet in the sense the right diet, the right mix of diet, the protein, what calories you require and what proteins you eat and what time you eat, and of course to be stress-free. Stress-free is one thing which we doctors we have a problem in that. So hopefully add on to meditation and yoga and the physical exercise. I think that will also relieve the stress. So on this World Obesity Day, we have a range of speakers. I'm not taking much of my time. So I welcome you all to Thrissur IMA. Thank you. So over to Dr. Joy.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh, for your welcome address. Now, Presidential address. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. P. Gopi Kumar, Vice President, IMA Kerala State, also IMA Thrissur branch member. President Dr. Rakesh, IAP Thrissur, President Dr. Rakesh, Cardiological Society of India, Kerala chapter, past President Dr. Johnny Joseph, Dr. Ravi TV, now our fitness chairman and also chairman of IMA Fitness Club, Dr. V.C. Manoj, and dietitian and fitness wizard, Mrs. Pooja Manoj, IMA Kerala Public Health Awareness Committee convener and president of Trivandrum IMA branch, Dr. Prashant TV, IMA Secretary, Thrissur branch secretary, Dr. Joseph George, and other senior leaders and members, and my dear friends. A warm good evening to all. Today, this Friday, 4th March 2022, we are observing World Obesity Day with this year's theme, Everybody Needs to Act. World Obesity Day is an initiative that is directed towards the eradication of the global crisis, that is obesity, which even you can see from the children on. Now this is the season of the ketone diet and all, and I don't know how far it is helpful to us. I think Mrs. Pooja can enlighten us about the ketone diet also. Now I invite Dr. Manoj for further proceedings of the session. Also, I invite Dr. Ravi PV for his felicitation. Or to you, Dr. Ravi. Then Dr. Manoj, you take over.
So good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah. I just happened to see this program about half an hour ago. I came a bit late, was browsing through the notice board. I suddenly found a very interesting topic coming up, Thrissur as usual. And the highlight, of course, is our fitness kings, fitness king and queen, Manoj and Pooja. No better alternative for us on the World Obesity Day. I was of late advising Manoj to gain little more weight, at least 5 kg, because he has crossed the limits. Losing weight is good, but I think he has to put an full stop to that and of course maintain it. And his regular Sunday sessions have become a hit all over Kerala. I think in many parts, other parts of India also. IAP has taken his lessons to heart, and many a pediatrician is following the fitness regime of Manoj and Pooja. I think all of us will be benefited with a proper diet as well as regular physical activity, which will go a long way in preventing most of the deadly diseases the society is facing now due to obesity and allied comorbidities. On the occasion of the World Obesity Day, I think Thrissur IMA and IAP is presenting the best possible academic session with practical tips. Over to you, Manoj and Pooja. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Dr. Joy Manila.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Manoj. Take off. Dr. Manoj.
Respected Chair, Joy Sir, Chief Guest of the Day, Gopikumar Sir, other respected seniors, respected faculty for today, Dr. Johnny Joseph, consultant cardiologist and chairman of the fitness group of Cardiology Society of India, Kerala chapter, and Dr. Prashant CV, I believe he will read, he is the convener of the IMA Kerala fitness group, as the public awareness group as well, and my dear friends. We will straight away go on to the CME. I was told that the inauguration will be after the launch. Isn't it, sir? That is the plan.
Otherwise, we will not be knowing what is the theme of the launch and all, you know. We'll have to give them an introduction.
We'll straight away jump into the...
Join in between us. Right?
Yes. We'll straight away jump into the CME. Risk, prevention and advocacy. That is what we are going to talk about in this World Obesity Day. And we all know World Obesity is obesity is a problem world over and is part of the lifestyle diseases. So the first part of the lecture will be delivered by Dr. Johnny Joseph. He is a consultant cardiologist at Caritas Hospital, Kottayam, and he is also the man who brought the Cardiology Society of Kerala into the limelight with the launch of their fitness activity and things like that. He has a lot of things to his credit. So I would request him to go on to the first part of the topic, that is on the risk risks involved in obesity, and we all know obesity is a metabolic disease now. So all the metabolic diseases do come together. So risks involved. Dr. Johnny Joseph.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. Thank you, Dr. Joy, for inviting me for this important session. In fact, I represent the Kerala Cardiology Society of India, Kerala chapter fitness group. And even though it was a late announcement, I hope that some cardiologists will also join. I see Dr. Shivshankar, my friend and guide in fitness and diet with me. So any questions, he knows more than me in all this theory, practice, in diet, diet in obesity and metabolic problems. So can I share my slide?
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
So I will have a few words, about 10 minutes of sharing my thoughts on the cardiac and metabolic issues in obesity. Of course, this is a very well-known factor. And before that, I should thank Dr. Manoj for giving me a lot of tips, including the how to make a green smoothie. I enjoy it every day. And also how to use millets instead of rice. And this is today's lunch for me, equally appetizing and satisfying. And we know we are among one of the top fattest countries in the world, despite a very higher amount of rural population. And I am not going to the details. Everybody knows this BMI-based classification of obesity, and even there are the BMI class beyond class 3, class 5 and 4 and 5 are also there, super obese. So in our own world, we see people around us also with various shades of obesity. I did not again stress you the fact that the higher BMI need not be unhealthy, because BMI just is a calculation, but if fat occupies more space, they really the calculations deceive our vision. And again, I need not tell this august audience about the importance of visceral fat rather than subcutaneous fat, which is the real culprit causing all the metabolic as well as cardiovascular problems and even other problems of obesity. So if you look at the more important comorbidities of obesity, including hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease, polydipsia, arthritis, a lot of central obesity, Pickwick syndrome. I did not elaborate on this, but three things are very important for me, and including this, and also fourth one, it is epidemia, where obesity plays a role for in cardiologist's life. Type 1 diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease, and especially including coronary heart disease, as well as heart failure. In every aspect of this thing, the obesity plays an important role by sending it, promoting it. And if you look at the scale, as the BMI goes up, there is an incremental increase in the risk of as well as the mortality related to the myocardial infarction and whatever STEMI or fatal or non-fatal, both in men and women. And the mechanism is well known to most of you, because it is abdominal obesity. This is deeply connected to the insulin insensitivity that prevents lipolysis and promotes a deposition of fat in various parts because of the free fatty acids. And in the free fatty acids cause muscle and pancreas. In muscle and pancreas, the mechanism for insulin resistance and the metabolic syndrome will ensue. And finally, exhausting the pancreas, it will go into a type 2 diabetes mellitus. In the liver, it will have its own gluconeogenesis in it. as well as increased triglyceride-based pathways, as well as dyslipidemia, that also contribute to the small dense LDL and the cardiovascular disease. And in blood vessels, of course, hypertension and hypercoagulable stage endothelial dysfunction. So it is a multifaceted attack on the coronaries as well as vasculature by the obesity. So sorry for the poor slide, just to tell you that the adipocyte is not a simple storage place. It has many chemicals or even hormones or molecules from it, leptin, adenopectin, many things are connected, including and the other neuropeptides being related. So it is an area of growing knowledge. It is not fully knowledge. The pathways are yet to be, and the gene interaction, all are yet to be on the evolving stage, but the evidence is getting robust and robust. And this is a simple thing which we all know, hyperinsulinemia plus hyperglycemia. And they can activation of the sympathetic nervous system, increase the arterial tone, sodium absorption, and in kidneys and hypertension is activated or worsened, or the overstimulation of the pancreatic cells ultimately leads to type 2 diabetes, and together they compound the scenario. And this is a standard thing, everybody knows, syndrome in which physiological response is inadequate to the amount of insulin secreted. And many of us, even our children are now in the insulin resistance, unknowing insulin resistance stage. They are going on that stage for many, many years. And even though whatever test you do, including the GTT or the blood sugar, fasting, postprandial, everything will be normal, but is at the expense of the increased level of insulin unknowingly going on. And as we all know, there are a problem with the measurement of insulin. Is not a standardized thing. It is not being done regularly, but if whatever be the insulin levels, if it is available to you, you test yourself at the fasting state, do a good meal or a GTT and see what is happening to the insulin levels. If you are a hyper responder or if you are on the insulin resistance level, the curve for insulin with that kit will be much, much higher than a normal healthy person. It's something called craft test. I think it is a time that it gets standardized and be practiced in our own basic workup for insulin resistance as well as the metabolic syndromes. And metabolic syndrome, as you know, is associated with a myriad of things, dyslipidemia worsening, endothelial dysfunction, systemic inflammation, right? And disordered fibrinolysis, prone for more myocardial infarction, hypertension, diabetes, visceral obesity. So a myriad of activities for insulin resistance. And the clinical manifestation of insulin resistance, everybody knows: central obesity, glucose intolerance, cirrhosis, hypertension, and polycystic ovary syndrome, to tell a few. And as well as the biochemical abnormalities, hyperinsulinemia, dysregulated lipid metabolism, small dense LDL, and impaired fibrinolysis. And in heart, if there is insulin resistance, we have all these factors I have mentioned, and endothelial dysfunction and the epidemic hypertrophy also, I should mention, along with the increased inflammatory markers. And these are pointed to an ongoing process of atherosclerosis as well as the pathway to the acute coronary events. And also the cardiovascular mortality is associated with the, if you have metabolic syndrome, your cardiovascular mortality and morbidity increases tremendously. So again, in hypertension, there is a good correlation between body weight and blood pressure. Most of the hypertensives are obese, either men or female women. And if you look at the mechanism in which obesity may cause hypertension, there is a renal pathophysiological pathway for that, including the RAS system and sympathetic nervous system, and that ultimately leads to volume expansion and glomerulosclerosis and hypertension. Initiation of hypertension as well as persistence of hypertension and the complications. And again, cardiovascular risk factor. I think I will not go into each of the details which most of you know. And the important thing is that the metabolic dyslipidemia, diabetes, and hypertension in various combinations promote a patient for CAD as well as congestive heart failure. So, as many of you are pediatricians, you know, love this slide because this shows the relevance of detecting the problem in the early, preventing it, or even controlling it in the early. Because the longer the patient is in the obesity stage, the higher the damage is done. The damage is high, and there can be somebody may be telling that he can be fat or just fit. There is a paradigm for that. But in spite of being obese, you have a relatively good cardiorespiratory fitness and your good metabolic fitness. Maybe, yes, there are a few people like that, lucky people, genetically lucky also, and they may, because along with the obesity, they may have increased most of the obese people also has increased muscle mass. So the increased muscle mass is said to be protecting them to have a higher cardiovascular fitness, and even that is said to be protective of them. Unlike even a lean person, not non-obese person, but has a higher risk than him. But if you look at more things, studies were more studies looked into more and more into this. In fact, they found that there are studies, long-term studies showing that this metabolically obese, healthy obese are on the pathway for this the intermediate risk, just below the metabolically unhealthy. So it is not as normal as a metabolically healthy normal weight people. So they are on the pathway to the complications of obesity as well as metabolic problems. So again, there was a discussion or some papers stating that there is something called obesity paradox. We know obesity is a risk factor for coronary heart disease, no doubt about it. But in a patient who is secondary prevention, if a patient has obesity and coronary heart disease, there are many studies showing, pointing that they have a better prognosis. Again, based on because they have the explanation is that they have got a better muscle mass, but that it is again being challenged. It is again being studied. This concept is again being challenged, and there are studies pointing against that, and new data even suggests that the paradox is not really true. So even if King David, he was in his prime of life, if he has lived in this world as a doctor, a cardiologist, or a neonatologist, or a physician, I am sure within a few years of time, his shape might have got into this one. So, and this is me, that arrow on the left side, when I was in the medical school. And even in those days, you can see my teacher, surgery professor Vijayan sir, as a coach. 15 years as a professor, as a medical teacher, he was a state player. He was transformed into a center figure even 1975 itself. So this is a everlasting problem. And yeah, you can see myself about in 2005 or 2013, my mother ridiculing me for my central obesity, despite all the preaching for fitness and prevention and everything. So, but whether is it possible to reverse it? Can you reverse it? I think it is possible. Manoj, Pooja, and the team is showing the world that it is preventable, reversible. So, in fact, I also had my own way of the experience of getting back to fitness. And the right side is Mr. Dr. Contractor, who is the proponent of aerobic fitness in India, in the cardiac Pesab circle. As he has said to me in one of the meetings, it is we cardiologists generally promote only aerobic exercise. At the same time, it is not only aerobic. It is the importance. There is importance of resistance training. There is importance of high intensity exercise. All can be used in various combinations for getting back to fitness, depending what is available to you, your time and your attitude. Standard 5 days of aerobic training and 2 days of resistance training is really, really important. And resistance training is more important, I would say, for elderly as well as obese people to have a good amount of muscle mass, because muscle mass determines the BMR, and the BMR determines the the amount of oxygen, the energy being spent. 80% is the energy spent at the rest, and only 20% during the activity, and 80% is determined by the amount of muscle mass. So to keep a muscle mass, do whatever best is possible for you, what you like. And I wish you all the very best in this World Obesity Day, maybe to change some of you, or even some of your family or friends, or the entire patient population and the society itself. And again, thank you again for your concept on green smoothie. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Do you want to stop sharing, sir? Screen?
Yes. Please stop sharing.
Friends, Johnny sir has given us an overview of what is in store for us and how we cope with it in a nutshell. Now, I am going to take a different perspective on the same. I'm going to take you to another scenario, the same thing. Usually we say that you aim for the stars so that you reach the moon at least. So this probably is true to all of us whose primary business is not remaining fit. It is something else, patient care. But at the same time, we are committed to our own family, our own body as well. So with this perspective, in the next 10 minutes or so, let us just look at another perspective of the same events. Consider now this scenario. Suppose you are obese and have comorbidities in the form of high cholesterol values, type 2 diabetes. Of course, obesity is known to cause all these, or is co-associated with all these. Hypertension, heart disease, and even risk for malignancy. And you seek medical attention. They come to us. If you are the physicians or if you are the patient, you go to the doctor. And what is the doctor going to tell you? Of course, he'll give you the fighting the fire, combat the immediate problem, and then tell you a few diet changes might help. And what are the advices you are going to get? Go on a high protein diet. Come down on your carbohydrates. Eat white meat chicken, fish, and dairy products also. You do that. You keep on doing that. This goes on. You go back next time, the doctor say, okay, there is some weight change or some change, either you wait for some more time. You keep on doing that, and then finally what happens? It doesn't work. It does not cure your problem. Your problems, you start putting on weight. You can't remain active throughout. You have a work to do, and the strategy doesn't work. What happens when you're going to go back next to him? He'll say, okay, the diet didn't work, didn't lower your cholesterol much. Let's start you on a statin. Or maybe your sugars are too high. Now, see the problem, we always try to, this is a common tendency, human tendency to attack the messenger. The sugar, we attack the sugar because sugar is too high. And let's prescribe some insulin. Or probably you have a high blood pressure. So let us talk about that. This is the scenario that you find. You are advised to cut down weight by any method. So you go for short-term methods like keto diet, the most popular diet once upon a time. Now, thankfully, has fallen into disrepute. This is a scenario in which we were going up and down in the last century, and enter the great physician Dean Ornish. Most of you have heard of him. He published a study in Lancet in 1990, the lifestyle heart trial. What did you do? He had an experimental program, randomized controlled trial. One group with the conventional treatment, the other one on vegetarian diet, half-hour walk daily, manage stress, and avoid tobacco. These were the advices because the group was smokers actually. His rationale was that all the good protein sources that you say come with a price. The fat, the saturated fat is quite high. Roast beef 33.4 grams, chicken with skin 3.8 grams, chicken without skin 2 grams, salmon, fish is supposed to be golden food as far as diet is concerned, 3.2 grams, cheddar cheese 11 grams, eggs very good these days you say no problem, you eat egg 3 grams, one egg will give you 3 grams protein. At the same time, all these come with a price. They give you, the cholesterol levels are pretty high. His rationale was that the animal sources of protein, black beans, brown rice, broccoli, content is very less, but they don't come with a price. The cholesterol was less. But let it remain as a hypothesis. He did the study, and in 1 year he published the results in 1990. The group that was on a vegetarian diet with some lifestyle modifications had 24% reduction in cholesterol, 1 year adherence, 37% reduction in LDL cholesterol, 10 kg reduction in weight, and 82% of them had reversal of heart disease. This is nothing new, 1990. Why have we not heard about this? That is the question that we need to ask. Why have we not heard about this? Or those of you who have heard about it, why are you not considering this? Always we live under pressure. The animal dairy industries are quite strong. What was the message this study gives? What did he do? He did not do anything. He did not use any drugs. He just reversed the diseases with a plant-based nutrition. The message probably he gave was the body can heal. And in 90, a new branch of medicine was born, that was lifestyle medicine. Unfortunately, it still remains as American College of Lifestyle Medicine, ACLM in US alone, now with lot of takers all around the world. Let me ask you a question. How far can we take this concept further? Now let me introduce the modern legend, Professor Neil Barnard. He is again a physician, and he is the founder of Physicians Committee for Respiratory Medicine and Responsible Medicine, and he is from George Washington University. Some of you must have heard of him. I am an admirer of him, and then another cardiologist from US, these two people I keep following. The other one is Kaushik Reddy. He is an Indian but a interventional cardiologist in US. What was his hypothesis? Why is this happening? Of course, insulin we know is the key to all the problems now. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, everything you have a link now to insulin. And the insulin, what does insulin do? Insulin under general scenarios lowers your blood sugar. If you have blood sugar, first of all, let me just confess, I am not a physician. I am actually a neonatologist with the passion for lifestyle medicine for the last 15 years, thanks to my wife Pooja, and we have been following this field for the last 15, 16, 17 years to be precise. So all these are learnings from learned people. So those who feel otherwise, we can have a discussion at the end. So what was his hypothesis? The cell, consider the muscle cell. How does it gets its energy? Any cell gets energy from the glucose. It has to enter, the glucose molecule has to enter the cell, and for that it needs a key, and the key is insulin. But what is going to happen if you are going to eat the classical good food, fish, protein rich healthy food? They all contain heavy amounts of fat. And what is going to happen to the cell? The cells are going to be filled with intramyocellular lipids. And the receptor doesn't open. Glucose can't go in. You are a healthy person. You are not diabetic. So you start producing more and more insulin. finally you land up in the stage called insulin resistance. Thankfully, Joni sir mentioned this. Now even small children, or rather the adolescents, 18-year-old children, they have insulin resistance. There's a beautiful study by Neil Bernard, which I'm not going to quote today, where no, he is actually a collaborative study where he showed in the adolescent people, one group insulin resistance and one group in the this thing. That's why we think we are obese doesn't mean the shape. The fat doesn't come in very black and white forms. It comes in shades of gray. The study has probably, and the subsequent studies, especially by Neil Bernard, has shown that the plant-based nutrition, you have removed all the fat cells from the fat molecules from the cell, and the cell is ready, the key is working. So the insulin secretion comes down, insulin sensitivity improves, and your HbA1c comes down. This is the first all of you must have seen his photo. I not taken his photograph, taken from net, that's why I covered his eyes. So Vance, he's Professor Neil Bernard's one of the first patients. He's there in Times cover, everywhere he is there. Type 2, with him, he showed that type 2 diabetes is reversible with plant-based nutrition. This fellow lost 60 pounds, stopped diabetes medication. He was on 3 diabetic medications, and his HbA1c fell from 9.5 to 5.3, not on any drugs, plant-based nutrition. Fast forward to the 21st century. Now, the plant-based nutrition has been shown to reverse so many changes. This is all of you know, this is a coronary artery, and the narrowed coronary artery has broadened up. This is again a published study which has shown that plant-based nutrition works. There are more and more studies. It's just not facts, work of fiction. Enough studies and more. And one of the slides I would like to show is probably this, where a conventional good diet, limiting calories, that's what we say. Fitness means limiting calories. Reduce your carbohydrate intake and limit the bad fats, eat the good fats. Versus the plant-based, no animal products, no oil if you can, or minimize oil and low glycemic index foods, and look at what has happened. This is the HbA1c in the plant-based nutrition. Over 22 weeks, these are diabetics in whom the study was done, from 8 it has fallen to 6.84. In the other group, it has fallen from 7.88 to 7.5. What is the problem with your keto diet? Well, first of all, it's not sustainable. How can you live without food? If you are going to cut down on your carbs, you are going to eat more fat. You are going to create more problem. Now, let me take it to the present calamity. That is the best illustration to show you the healthcare workers study from 6 countries who had substantial exposure to COVID-19 patients, published last year in BMJ Nutrition, Prevention and Health, that plant-based nutrition group, the calamity does not strike you much. Look at this first two, this thing. Compared to a less plant-based nutrition, a more plant-based nutrition, it's not absolute plant-based, more plant-based, there is 73% less chance of getting severe disease from COVID. Not low carb versus low carb diet. Low carb diet, a chance of COVID are more. So there are various dimensions to the nutrition and the various aspects we don't think, because we are under pressure from the industry. The most powerful industries are the animal food industry and the dairy industry. You don't see their power directly. You see in the studies that are being churned out. So friends, so I had just modified all my, taken out all my, because some of the things that I was about to talk were all talked about by Joni sir. So I would just like to introduce you to the concept of lifestyle medicine, where there are 7 pillars, and the major 2 pillars are diet and exercise, stress-free life, adequate sleep, substance-free, no abuse, no tobacco. Now even say drinks, even a pint is bad. So that is a new thing. So substance free and enough social connections. All the 6 pillars are important. If you have all these, you don't require medicine. So this is what now those who are not actually modern medicine practitioners are also catching up on this. If the modern medicine people, if we shy away from the concepts of the lifestyle medicine, somebody else is going to take this and then take it to, distorted levels. Well, how can I fight obesity with and age with grace? Well, WHO says eat well, move well, and be well. How do you eat well? The concept, I am just going to rush through everything and take more time. So we all know the plate, the classic plate, half the plate with vegetables and fruits, and the rest with dairy and protein. Now this is undergoing a radical change. 3 things are cut off from this. Healthy oils may not be, dairy products not really, and proteins you need a qualitative change. Plant-based nutrition may be the view, but I mind you, I don't mean an exclusive vegan diet. If you can do that well, but then there are challenges with that. I'm not just not a total blind advocate of that. I keep an open view, but then more it's all risk versus benefit, and then just you don't try to eat lots of fat thing, saying that it gives you DHA, whereas and the plant doesn't give you, or rather some of the food doesn't give. That is not the way to. We need to have a balanced view on diet. Move well, exercise is medicine. Johnny sir was emphasizing on this point. All of you know there are 3 aspects of exercise. Start with cardio, then move on to strength, graduate to strength and power training, and then add on flexibility. The common examples of cardio are walking to start with, jogging, running, cycling, swimming, aerobics, dancing. Zumba is a very popular form, the most popular form of aerobics these days, and various varieties of Zumba, weight training in various forms. So as Johnny sir was stressing, let me also stress, as you age, if you want to do only one type of exercise, lift weights. More important for women than men, especially when you read that osteoporotic risks. And flexibility is of course important, so that is the second thing that you need. Cardio is taking a back seat now, especially for those who are already into fitness. Those who are not into fitness, cardio is a way to initiate you into fitness. High intensity, I will skip all this for lack of time. So why is moving important? All of you know, I don't need to lecture you on the cardiovascular benefits, on the musculoskeletal benefits, of course, if you do not lift weights, your muscles are going to undergo the physiologic atrophy, and less muscle means more fat. As it is, we are risk of fat deposition as we old. So you have to strengthen your muscle, and only if you lift weight this happens. And then your brain also needs exercise. Now we have enough studies to show that exercise reduces a chance of Alzheimer's, lethargy, Parkinsonism, lack of sleep, etc. And now plant-based nutrition, now newer studies, 2 studies have been published last year about reduction of Alzheimer's disease with plant-based nutrition, etc. All the systems need exercise. You need to, so exercise is medicine. If you want to prescribe one medicine other than plant-based nutrition, I would say it's exercise medicine. I may be exaggerating a bit, but that is the only way to drive the concept into us who think we know the concept, but we don't follow it. Few tips for beginners. All exercises are done minimum 2 hours after food. Warm up 5 to 10 minutes before you exercise. Cool down 5 to 10 minutes and do stretching exercise at the end. Drink plenty of water in small quantities. Wear proper dress and footwear. Group exercises. This is where, because human beings are all lazy people, and we have enough excuse. We have a very noble excuse. We take care of patients. We don't have time. If you are not fit enough, then whom are you going to take care of? What justice are you going to do to your family? So if you cannot, the famous quote by the movie star Akshay Kumar, if you cannot devote 1 hour for your body, then you should die. So probably, like I would say, group exercise is the way to motivate yourself. Our experiment has been a very successful one. We started this experiment in Doctor's Circle in 2017 with the IAP Thrissur Fitness Club, and it has evolved with the time. Now IMA, thankfully, thanks to the initiative by Joy sir, IMA Thrissur is the pioneer in this field. Now, what is the key word in diet and fitness? You need to challenge yourself. You don't look at somebody else's progress. Where am I today and how am I going to progress? This is what you are going to do. You set higher goals every time for you. Do not look at your companion who may be doing more. You have different requirements. But make sure you don't fail yourself. Be well. What does it took to? This is anyway. I am not the expert on this. The other 4 pillars of lifestyle medicine: adequate sleep, stress-free life, and social connection. And then the 4th one is substance abuse prevention. Of course, the only substance abuse some of us have, hopefully, is smoking, which I think, and drinking, of course, is now being considered as substance abuse. Managing stress, we all of us know the stress thermometer, and so I will wind up with this slide. So to summarize, how do we fight obesity? There is no short term. Short term, you can go for any fad diet like keto diet and bring down a weight, and after 5 years you put the weight back on, or you follow the steady path. Go follow the all the principles of lifestyle medicine: adequate nutrition, adequate exercise, avoid substances, stress management, social connection, and adequate sleep. That's all what I want to say, and I'm sorry if I exceeded my time, and we can have all the 3 questions at the end. I would love to have a discussion at the end. Thank you. Now, thank you, friends. So now may yes, Joy sir. Prashant is come. Yes, may I now invite the 3rd faculty? Okay, before that, now the Gobi Umar has come. So now we have we are launching, with this function, we are launching a movement. We have been, last 3 years, we have been having diet challenges in various forms. So now we are evolving it to the next phase, where we now have a weight reduction course. So we are launching that course. It is called Choose to Lose. The brain behind that is I am fortunate to have my wife Pooja as a brain behind. So I would ask Pooja to elaborate on the course, and we have some learned mentors for this course. So I would like them also to speak a few words if they are here now at the end. Before that, Pooja, can you please throw a light on?
Good evening, everyone. So Choose to Lose is an 8-week long weight loss program, and it is based on pillars of lifestyle medicine as elaborated before in this talk. And it is evidence-based, sustainable, and the results are reproducible every time. So the results being like fat loss, insulin sensitivity improvement, lipid cholesterol reduction, and reversal and prevention of diseases. So nutrition is the most important initially when we begin with. So we will be following a minimally processed whole food plant-based diet, and there will be fitness sessions 5 days a week in which we include cardio, strength training, and flexibility, all the components of fitness. Also there will be group support and motivation. So we know through studies now, within the short term weight loss programs, within 1 or 2 years people gain back. So we'll sensitize people, and through knowledge acquisition, skill acquisition, and a lot of group support, and we'll sensitize that it's as important an activity as your daily routine. And I'll just introduce the mentors of this program. Dr. Johnny Joseph, cardiologist from Kottayam. Dr. Geeta Mekot, she's a gynecologist from Kannur. Dr. Asha Nizamuddin from Trivandrum, pediatrician. Dr. Namita, she's a dentist and also a fitness trainer. Dr. Manoj, neonatologist from Thrissur, and myself, Pooja Manoj from Thrissur, dietitian and into fitness. Thank you. So another thing about this program is this is open to all, and the only thing that we seek is active participation from the participants. Otherwise, no silent observation, just being in the group, because there is elimination in this program. Thank you.
Joy sir.
Dr. Gobi is giving a talk in another meeting. That will take 2-3 minutes only.
Okay.
He has got only a felicitation talk. So,
So
you can take up some questions like that.
Okay, and before that, any of our mentors are here. They were here initially. Dr. Geeta. She said she had to go for that. Johnny sir, few words.
Of course. So thanks for choosing me as one of the mentor. In fact, I would like to get myself mentored in diet. First of all, again, I can contribute to my experience in regarding the cardiovascular aspects of any of these metabolic problems, or even be somebody who has some knowledge about the fitness exercise, high intensity exercise, and elderly strength training. That is my strengths. But again, I have some reservation about entirely plant-based medicine, plant-based diet. Some of us, even some question popped up by one of another panelists, participants, that why do vegetarians get all the diabetes and all? So I think it's a complex problem. Diet studies are very, very difficult to be properly done. The numbers are always very in hundreds or 50s or 20s. So it's a really, really difficult problem. And many people, whenever they believe in something, their results initially are good but not maintained. I remember the era of all the Prakriti Chikitsa, this naturopathy people in 90s and early 2000s. The enthusiasm, it was deeply there. There was no statins those days. Still, I had experienced a good number of patients who are in all this program having had recurrence of coronary heart disease. So this with the new interventions and fixing of critical lesions as well as secondary prevention, now the reinforcements are much less. That is my experience. And again, basically, I don't believe that basically, I don't believe that the human beings, Homo sapiens, was not a pure plant-based person. We had been living on marrows when we were Homo erectus and who are other Homo series as well as Homo sapiens in the beginning. Only the last 10,000 years we have been on the agricultural group of producing a large amount of plant-based food. That is my thought on it. I think I may be wrong. Maybe just time will prove.
Thank you, sir. Yes, go ahead. You want to say something?
I wish you the very best. I think still there's a great role for nutrients, the green fibers. I think we will be stressing on the fibers, what the fibers are going to the gut bacteria, and what wonderful things can get to bacteria given in future. That's time will tell.
Thank you, sir. Since I saw the question in that, I would just like to send half the answer is given by Johnny sir. I would like to give the other perspective as well. The question was, if plant-based nutrition cures diabetes, why vegetarians develop diabetes and obesity? Let me just tell you my take on this. If you can classify diets into 3 groups: the best diet, the medium, the okay diets, and the worst diet. Vegetarian diets are probably the worst diet if you use it like the way we use it. Our present scenario with a sedentary lifestyle, lot of oil, dairy products, and then you call yourself a vegetarian. That's very bad. Much worse than an animal-based diet. Animal products are much better if you choose the food. I do not mean vegetarians. I said plant-based nutrition, and plant-based nutrition has some evidence in its favor, but as I said, the recommendations are coming in. Probably after 10 years, 2032, we all can debate, and by then I hope that the cycle would have turned around, because there are this thing. But agreed, if it's not possible, at least give away the junk food, give away the oil, eat from home. And then, if you cannot avoid, there is no other connotation to it. Primarily, your nutrition has to be all 4 categories: vegetables, vegetables and fruits. Then next, the legumes to qualitative change in your proteins. And if these things are met, now if some of wherever there is a change, of course I'm not saying that I'm not totally against. I was a pakka non-veg once upon a time, but that's not the point. So please don't misunderstand me. This concept has to sink in. We just in the midst of, we do not drive some points very well. So if you cannot follow that, at least give away with your junk food, reduce, do not eat the empty calories, have whole grain cereals and all this. That's the way probably to forward. Probably we'll take it discussion. Gomar sir is there. Yeah. Any other mentor is there to speak a few words before the launching? Others are not done. Yes sir, Joy sir, over to you.
Now I invite today's chief guest and Senior Vice President of IMA Kerala State to inaugurate the function and to launch the program. Over to you, Dr. Govind.
Yeah. Good evening, respected President of IMA Thrissur, Dr. Joy, IAP President Dr. Rakesh, esteemed speakers Dr. Johnny, Dr. Prashant, and Dr. Manoj and Pooja, and senior IMA members and friends. Let me congratulate the Thrissur branch and IAP for organizing this program. Of course, this is more than 2-3 years now. The fitness programs that is being conducted by Indian Medical Association and IAP together. Of course, the kingpin is Manoj, and congratulations Manoj and Pooja for that. Now, World Obesity Day, we know the theme is everybody needs to act. This is more important in the present scenario. Well, when we consider obesity to be treated in a different way, I was just participating in the other CME of long COVID or post-COVID syndrome, where they stress upon the diet. So that is very, very important. Now, the challenge the clinician is going to face in the next months and years to come is post-COVID syndrome and long COVID. There are a lot of presentations, cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, whatever, pulmonary and so on and so forth. And it happens suddenly, so and you need immediate intervention. So for that purpose, when we consider the management of such the post-COVID syndromes, the diet becomes a very, very important part, and we have to change the mode of diet. As of course, I was listening, although partly, to the two presentations by Dr. Joni and Dr. Manoj, and I had learned a lot new things, of course, and definitely that has to be incorporated. And plant-based food seems to be the solution or the answer in the days to come. So with that, I think it's very, very important to have a program of this sort. And of course, Manoj has come out with the Choose to Lose program. I wish all the very best to this program. Definitely, this has to be taken up statewide. And of course, Prashant is there, our public health expert, and he is the person who can disseminate anything and everything to the length and breadth of Kerala, of the members of IMA, even to the public. So he was organizing the 120 days program for the general public. Even now it is continuing every week. Continuous 120 programs he did for the general public. So this message has to be taken through to the general public, and I wish all the very best, and I formally launch the Choose to Lose program with all your permissions. And thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Jai Hind, Jai IMA.
Thank you so much, sir. Nice of you. So the details we will be again circulating. Those who are interested with the BMI above the 23 and are most welcome to join the program. We'll again circulate. The first 2 weeks are to get people into the program only. It's a long program, and as was previously mentioned, the culmination of the program is in another workshop on lifestyle and CME organized by IMA Thrissur jointly with another international neonatology conference we are hosting in Hayat. So the joint program will be on 27th of May. So till then this course will go on. So culmination will be there. So now, thank you, sir. Joy, sir, shall we proceed to the next talk?
Yeah.
So now we have an excellent speaker, a people's man, who is going to give a different. We heard two different perspectives. Even though topics were different, the things were all coming in place. Risk prevention. Now, nothing is important as to the ground level work. And advocacy is the way to go. Until you have advocacy plan, strategies, whatever you say will remain in Zoom classrooms and in your mind. So to take it to the ground zero, we need some solid plans. And thankfully, IMA Kerala has come up with a public awareness campaign, and then the head of the program, who is coordinating, Dr. Prashant. Prashant is a dear friend. He is known to all of us. So Prashant will be talking to us about the advocacy in this aspect. Over to you, Prashant. You are muted. You are muted.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See, first of all, let me congratulate the IMA Thrissur, the IAP Thrissur Cardiology Society of India Kerala chapter for coming ahead with this program. And respected the Senior Vice President of IMA Kerala State, Dr. P. Gopikumar sir, then Dr. Joy Manjila sir. Then whenever I hear the name, I'll remember that Manjilayil Mungi Turti Madhumasa Chandrika Vannu. And so much an amazing man, always smile, and he has really smiled. And then the one of the, I don't know. I don't have any words to speak about Dr. Manoj and Pooja. Actually, in fact, I don't know how many of you. Is there any person who don't understand Malayalam at all in this crowd? Please raise your hand, because I have a small bit to share. Because when I was about to, I was walking, and I asked my kid, my son, elder son, to log into the Zoom and be there. I'll join. And then when I came over, actually, എൻ്റെ മോൻ എന്നോട് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്, അച്ഛാ ഇന്ന് സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനാണോ ക്ലാസ്? അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു, അതെന്താ, രണ്ട് പിള്ളേർ അവിടെ ഇരിക്കണം. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, മക്കളെ ഒന്ന് സൂം ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം, എങ്കിലിന്റെ മീശ നരച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സത്യമായിട്ടും. കാരണം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല് ഞാനത് പറഞ്ഞ് ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തേണ്ടി വന്നു. ഈ ഇരിക്കുന്ന രണ്ടുപേര് പിള്ളേരല്ല. Because that time you were speaking, right? Okay. So this is what actually advocacy means. Because whatever we speak, we must live with it. Whatever we speak, we must live with it. And then yet another thing. Yesterday I went for a campaign for a membership in IMA. I was, speaking to the Department of Pulmonology in Medical College Trivandrum. When I went there were 27 people sitting over there, out of which 17 were non-members. Only 10 people were IMA members. Then, it was around 1 o'clock. People are actually, they are fed up with the sessions. And then at the end of the program, I am coming for campaign for IMA. How should I start talking? Yet another campaign on Indian Medical Association is the largest organization, professional organization. That way, no, I started in a different way. Now I am going to start this session also in a similar way. ഞാൻ അവരോട് പറഞ്ഞു, പ്രിയരെ നമസ്കാരം, ഞാനൊരു വാർത്ത പറയാനാണ് വന്നത്. എന്താണ് ആ വാർത്ത? ഞാൻ ചൂട് ചായ കുടിക്കാറില്ല. ഇനി ചായ എന്നല്ല, ചൂടായ ഒരു പാനീയവും കുടിക്കാറില്ല. എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്ന് അറിയാമോ? ഒരൊറ്റ കാര്യം മാത്രമല്ല, രണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. ഒന്ന്, consumption of hot beverages leads to cancer of the oral cavity as well as the esophagus. I don't know how many of you knows it. Many people think that consuming hot beverages is their credit, and people even make complaints in their home. Who has put on this fan in front of my cup of tea? This is a violence that happens in many places. And then I said this crowd, "Njan chudu chaya kudikkarilla." So why? Because I have level 1 evidence that there is the regular consumption of hot beverages leads to cancer. But that is only knowledge. Okay, it is not the knowledge that turns or makes us deciding what we should do. നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് തീരുമാനിക്കുന്നതും അത് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് ഉറപ്പാക്കുന്നതും നമ്മുടെ അറിവല്ല, പക്ഷെ തിരിച്ചറിവാണ്. That is realization of what we learn. And how do we realize? After working for 2 decades in Regional Cancer Center Trivandrum as palliative care physician, I saw many who have no other risk factor but only this. And even very few of our colleagues succumbed to CA esophagus just because they had no other risk factor but this one. I'm not just sharing some anecdotal experience, but with the scientific evidence which you can search through the literature. So after getting convinced that the consumption of the hot beverages leads to cancer, I stopped taking it naturally. And then I realized the mechanism, which the details of which is not the intention of my talk. Then I said, "You're all pulmonologists, and I'm sure you don't smoke, but there are doctors who smoke. But pulmonologists usually don't smoke." Okay, why? Because pulmonologist knows very well both the theory and the practical side of what is the harm, the hazards of smoking. Hope it is very clear. Arivinekal pradhanam tiricharavu. And my journey with eating good started when I became the chief editor of IMA's health magazine, the prestigious health magazine Nammude Arogyam. And whatever we say, we must follow, right? And then I formulated a campaign called, this is IMA. When I say IMA, it is IMA. And the IMA formulated a campaign called Adhyam Arogyam. Dear friends, നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്താലും ചിന്തിച്ചാലും പ്രവർത്തിച്ചാലും അവൻ കിടന്നാൽ കാൽപ്പണം എന്നൊരു ചൊല്ലുണ്ട്. What we have to do is, നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്താലും സാധാരണ അവൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും കണ്ടോണ്ടേ ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ എന്ന് we usually say, right? അവൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും കണ്ടോണ്ടേ ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയും. അതുപോലെ നമ്മളും എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? എന്ത് ചെയ്താലും we must prioritize health in it. Prima health. My first priority is my health. And what is IMA advocacy measure? The finest advocacy measure that one person can have is modeling. Like my son told, who are those boy and girls sitting in front of the computer? If someone asked that, I was not just sharing a joke. I was just not making a joke for this program, but I'm telling you the truth. My 16-year-old son told me, yeah, because I used to go for many programs, and which college is today's. This is not the advertisement of Sandhu, but let me tell you, if Dr. Manoj and Pooja Manoj appears like that,
I can understand about Pooja, but calling me a boy. Too much.
See, associating with people is also very important. Sitting with Pooja makes you younger. Okay. So always be with that. Okay. And second, so the finest advocacy measure that you can do is living it. Now, after going through, IMA Nammude Arogyam's campaign, as Adhyam Arogyam Nammude Arogyam, we must have a slogan like that. നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്താലും ചിന്തിച്ചാലും പ്രവർത്തിച്ചാലും നാം നമ്മോട് പറയേണ്ട ആദ്യത്തെ മുദ്രാവാക്യം ഇൻകുലാബ് സിന്ദാബാദ് എന്നാണെങ്കിൽ, ആ ഇൻകുലാബ് സിന്ദാബ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, വിപ്ലവം ജയിക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് പറയണം? ആദ്യം ആരോഗ്യം. ആരുടെ ആരോഗ്യം? നമ്മുടെ ആരോഗ്യം. So that should be your this thing. And for that we created a slogan, yet another slogan. For that Adyam Arogyam, you do Vyayamam, Samikridaharam and Samardarahida Jividam. You were speaking about that. You know, exercise, you take balanced food, and then you live a stress-free life. Now, I took my plate. I just painted it like this. This is an ordinary plate which I used to have in my house. A 12-inch diameter plate. A little bigger plate, I would admit, but I just painted it like this. See, fill the half of the plate with fruits and vegetables and the other half with the grains and the protein. And when I placed this plate in front of my dining table dishes got changed. Then thanks to Thrissur again, Dr. M.E. Sugadan sir, I don't know whether he is in this crowd, we must have a loud round of applause for him. When he became the president of IMA Kerala State, when we requested this plan, he released an order. Whenever there is an IMA meeting anywhere in Kerala, there must be a desk of healthy diet. You serve whatever you want. See, if we wish to have a healthy diet, when we are outside,
2040
ഇപ്പൊ കഴിയുമോനെ? അപ്പോ കുഴപ്പമില്ല, അവൻ പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ. സി, നമ്മുടെ പ്രൈമറി തിങ് എന്താണെന്നറിയാം, നമ്മൾ പറയുന്ന സാധനം നമ്മൾ നടപ്പാക്കണം. Now, again coming back, what we have to do is, നമ്മൾ ഈ ഭക്ഷണത്തിന്റെ പ്ലേറ്റ്, നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്ലേറ്റ് ഹെൽത്തി പ്ലേറ്റ് അനുസരിച്ച് കഴിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രയോറിറ്റി എന്തായിരിക്കണം? It should be available. നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ കുറച്ച് അവൈലബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. വീട്ടിൽ പോലും എന്താ സംഭവിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് അറിയാം, നമ്മളെല്ലാം ഡോക്ടർമാരാണ്. പക്ഷെ നമ്മളെ വീട്ടിൽ എന്താ സംഭവിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് അറിയോ? പച്ച മീൻ വേണമെന്ന് പറയും, മീൻ വാങ്ങിച്ച് ഫ്രിഡ്ജിൽ വെക്കും, 5 ദിവസം കഴിഞ്ഞ് കുക്ക് ചെയ്യും. നമ്മൾ ഭയങ്കര ഫ്രഷ് ഫ്രൂട്ട്സ് ആൻഡ് വെജിറ്റബിൾസ് വേണമെന്ന് പറയും, ഫ്രിഡ്ജിൽ കയറ്റി 4 ദിവസം കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിക്കും. പക്ഷേ what we have to do is, ഇനി അതെല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ് അരിയാൻ മടിയാണ്. ഇനി ഇതെല്ലാം കൂടെ ആരുണ്ടാക്കുമെന്ന്? അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, വീട്ടിലെ ഏതെങ്കിലും 5-star ഹോട്ടലിൽ നിന്ന് കട്ട് ഫ്രൂട്ട്സ് വില കൊടുത്ത് കുറച്ച് ദിവസം വാങ്ങിക്കുക. പിന്നെ നിങ്ങളെ വീട്ടിൽ തനിയെ ഇതെല്ലാം അരിഞ്ഞു വന്നു. ഇനി ഇതെല്ലാം അരിയുന്നത് പോലും കീപ്പിംഗ് മൂവിങ് ആണ്, ഒരു എക്സസൈസ് ആണ്. ബി ഹാപ്പി വിത്ത് ഇറ്റ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ യു എംപ്ലോയ് എ മെയ്ഡ് ടു കട്ട് ദ ഫ്രൂട്ട്സ് ആൻഡ് വെജിറ്റബിൾസ്. ഇനി അപ്പോഴെല്ലാവരും പറയും ഞാൻ ഫ്രൂട്ട്സ് ആൻഡ് വെജിറ്റബിൾസ് കഴിക്കുന്നുണ്ടെന്ന്. പക്ഷെ യു നോ വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ്? കഴിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം ഒരു ലോഡ് ഫ്രൂട്ട്സും കൂടെ കഴിക്കും. അതും വേണ്ട. സോ IMA advocacy measures' first step is, let us improvise our meeting program with availability of healthy diet. You make available whatever you want. Parota veno, biryani veno, fried rice veno, adella avade vecholu. Pakshe healthy plate inulla sadhanam koodi avade vechekkanam. And it will be, it will astonish you that healthy dishes will get exhausted first. Because it is the availability that matters first. So among the advocacy measures, one is living with it. Second, modeling and mentoring. Modeling and mentoring is very important. And we must play a role model for the community. Now, how do you speak to them? നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പൊ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞു, മനോജ് സാറ് പറഞ്ഞു, plant based nutrition കൊള്ളാം. അപ്പൊ ഉടനെ നമ്മൾ നോൺ വെജ് ആയിട്ട് കഴിക്കുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ പറയും, ഇതാ ഞാൻ യൂട്യൂബ് ലിങ്കിലേക്ക് പോയി. അപ്പൊ ഒരാൾ പറയാണ് ഇത് അങ്ങനെയൊന്നുമല്ല, അവരൊരു കഴിക്കുന്ന, നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ ജനിക്കുമ്പോൾ എന്തൊക്കെ കഴിച്ച് ശീലിക്കും, അതിന്റെ ആൾക്കാരായി നമ്മൾ മാറും. ഞാനൊരു വളരെ കോംപ്രമൈസ്ഡ് വേർഷൻ പറയും. നിങ്ങൾ ഇഷ്ടമുള്ളതൊക്കെ കഴിച്ചോ, പക്ഷേ ആ ഇഷ്ടമുള്ളതൊക്കെ കഴിക്കുന്നത് കൊതിക്ക് വേണ്ടി മാത്രം കഴിക്കണം. ഒരു പൊറോട്ട കഴിക്കണമെന്ന് കൊതിയുണ്ടോ? കഴിച്ചോ. പക്ഷേ നിങ്ങൾ ജീവിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി കഴിക്കുമ്പോൾ പ്ലേറ്റിൽ പകുതി പഴങ്ങളും പച്ചക്കറികളുമായിരിക്കും. വെരി സിമ്പിൾ. ഒരു ലോഡ് ചോറും ഒരു പിടി കറിയും കഴിക്കരുത്. പിന്നെ ചിലരൊക്കെ കഴിക്കുന്ന കഴിപ്പ് കണ്ടാൽ ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കും, ഇത് എന്നാ കയറ്റുന്നത്? അപ്പോൾ അവര് പറയും, പിന്നെ വിശന്നാലോ എന്ന് പറയും. പിന്നെ വിശന്നാൽ പിന്നെ കഴിക്കണം. വളരെ സിമ്പിൾ ആണ്. Now, so IMA സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം, നിങ്ങൾ ഇന്ത്യൻ മെഡിക്കൽ അസോസിയേഷന്റെ IMA പബ്ലിക് ഹെൽത്ത് അവയർനെസ് കമ്മിറ്റിയെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം, we will definitely take up your measure to the across the Kerala by every means for sure. And we will be circulating this YouTube link as well to across Kerala members, and particularly to Trivandrum district for sure, all the 7,000 members of IMA Trivandrum, roughly around 6,500 members of IMA district, Trivandrum district will know about this plan for sure by tomorrow morning. And again, across the Kerala, we will percolate. And I definitely have a wish. Can you please give Dr. Manoj VC and Pooja Manoj to Trivandrum for a few days in a week? Because, let him come across, they must travel across Kerala and let them, be a living example, brand ambassador of fitness. And I wish this program every success. Now, let me ask one more thing. Advocacy, I will set, I will conclude by sharing an example. ഞാൻ പുകയിലേക്കെതിരെ ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ആളാണ്. അത് പലർക്കും അറിയാം. അപ്പോൾ അതിനകത്ത് യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ പുകയിലേക്കെതിരെ ക്യാമ്പയിൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഒരു തവണ വന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഈ പലപ്പോഴും റോഡിൽ ഒരാൾ പുകവലിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറയും, ചേട്ടാ ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് പുകവലിക്കരുത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെയൊക്കെ നിന്ന് പുകവലിക്കാമോ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഉടനെ തിരിച്ചു ചോദിക്കുന്ന ഒരു മോശം വഴക്കുണ്ട്. ഇതെന്താ നിന്റെ തന്തയുടെ സ്ഥലമാണോ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കും. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ആകെ ചുളുങ്ങി തീർന്നു. ഒരു ദിവസം രാത്രി 11 മണിക്ക് ഞാൻ കാരണം പുകവലിക്കുന്നവരെ കാണുമ്പോൾ എനിക്കങ്ങ് വല്ലാത്ത ഫീൽ വരും. ആൻഡ് ഒരു ദിവസം രാത്രി 11 മണിക്ക് ഒരു കൂട്ടര് കടയുടെ നടയിൽ നിന്ന് പുകവലിക്കുക, നല്ല പയ്യന്മാരാ. അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പാല് വാങ്ങിക്കാൻ ഇറങ്ങിയിട്ട് അവരോട് പറഞ്ഞു, ഇത് ശരിയല്ലല്ലോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ താൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുമെന്നായി. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് ആകെ ഈഗോ വർക്കൗട്ടായി. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു പോലീസിനെ വിളിക്കുമെന്ന്. ഓക്കെ, പോലീസിനെ വിളിക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോ അവരെന്ത് ചെയ്തു, അവിടെ നിന്ന് എന്നാ വിളിക്കണമെന്ന്. ഞാൻ എന്റെ ഫോണും എടുത്ത് ഞാൻ എന്റെ കഷ്ടകാലത്തിന് പോലീസിനെ വിളിച്ചിട്ടേ, ഈ പോലീസ് വരുമ്പോ അവര് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാലുള്ള അവസ്ഥയൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കൂ. പോലീസുകാർ ചോദിക്കുക, അർദ്ധരാത്രിയിൽ വേറെ പണിയൊന്നും ഇല്ലേ ഡോക്ടറെ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കും അല്ലേ. അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ അവസാനം ഫോൺ പതുക്കെ താഴെ വെച്ചു. എന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ ഇവരോട് ചോദിച്ചു, അല്ല, ശത്രു ആയുധം താഴെ വെക്കുമ്പോഴാണല്ലോ മറ്റവൻ പേടിക്കുന്നത്. ഞാൻ ഈ ഫോൺ അങ്ങ് താഴെ വെച്ചിട്ട് ആത്മവിശ്വാസത്തോടെ സർവ്വ ദൈവങ്ങളെയും പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു ചോദ്യം ചോദിച്ചു, അല്ല, നിങ്ങൾ തോൽപ്പിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നത് ആരെയാണ്? നിങ്ങളെയാണോ എന്നെയാണോ? വല്ലാത്തൊരു ചോദ്യമായിപ്പോയി അല്ലേ. ആ ചോദ്യത്തിൽ അവർ സിഗരറ്റ് താഴെ ഇട്ടു, ചവിട്ടി നിരത്തി, എന്നിട്ട് സോറിയും പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അവർ ഒരൊറ്റ പോകും. അതായത് നമ്മളുടെ അഡ്വക്കസി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം നമ്മൾ എന്താണോ പ്രചരിപ്പിക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത് അതിന്റെ അപ്പുറത്തുള്ള ആൾക്കാരെ മോശപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടല്ല, പകരം അവരെ നമ്മുടെ ആളാക്കലാണ്. ആൻഡ് യു ട്രൈ ടു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് വാട്ട് ദേ ആക്ച്വലി ബിലീവ്, and this is very important. So my best wishes for this program, and I am sure under the leadership of Dr. Manoj VC and Dr. Pooja, and I should say she has become a doctor, for our Pooja Manoj, and then the ever-loving, smiling Dr. Joy Manila, and then the legendary leader Dr. P. Gopikumar in Thrissur, and the senior vice president of IMA Kerala State, then the practical man Dr. Santosh Babu sir, and many other people. Thrissur is rich with good leaders, and you have set an example for entire Kerala. We are really proud of you, and we assure you that the advocacy measures that we are going to take further is going to make every doctor healthy. And it should be our dream that every doctor remain healthy. Let's know the doctor be the obese fellow, and let no doctor, child won't pass away of heart attack a few hours ago. And let none of us pass away from unnecessary reason. Thank you for crafting this opportunity. Thank you for crafting this course, and you will be remembered forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Now back to Joy sir for the rest of the proceedings. So do we have any discussion session before? Any questions?
Let us have discussion now. No discussion. Let us have discussion.
Yeah. Any questions? I think Joni sir is also there, Prashant is also there, we are also there. So
Manoj,
yeah,
Manoj,
yes.
one doubt. Can we, what about the intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting are actually 3-4 days avale. Plant-based, plant-based, okay. We had this intermittent fasting also as a major breakthrough. So
I know intermittent fasting has helped so many people. I think you are one of the living examples to reduce weight. We were all working out. The thing is intermittent fasting, but it has to be, see, each concept has to be, you have to understand the concept. Just like the previous the concept of vegetarian diet is not the good diet. Non-vegetarian diet is equally good. I did not mean vegetarian. It's a plant-based nutrition. What are so the concept has to be fully understood. Nutrition is a evolving subject. What we say today, 100 years ago, whatever whatever is the concept, let's say 10 years ago, whatever is the concept is not the concept now. So things are evolving. Medicine is like that. So dairy products, which we thought were all healthy, now there are so many things coming out against dairy. Dairy is one of the major causes of malignancy, and things like that are coming out. So things are evolving. Fasting has to be done in a very scientific way. What we did in our group in the challenge was a very scientific way, totally methodical, totally evidence-based medicine. If you do like that, fasting is this thing, and all the religions I believe have fasting in their this thing. This is one of the times when you achieve so many goals, but then it has to be done properly. It has to be done this thing, that diurnal or rather circadian fasting is another concept. You don't eat anything when the sun is down. So these are all concepts. So intermittent fasting, you can club it with that. You have a early dinner at 6 o'clock and then don't eat anything till next day morning. So intermittent fasting means minimum 12 hours fasting. So 14 hours, 16 hours is the time. In between you have only water. So allow the body to heal, and then it has been shown by evidence to improve insulin sensitivity. So it is good, but anything if done in a wrong manner is harmful also. Rakesh, anyway, for you it is safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Manoj, I only asked that question about the vegetarian controversy.
Okay. Good that you asked. Yeah. Very nice that you.
In continuation, as you know, I am a physical medicine specialist and also a diabetologist. Your programs are well accepted, but I have certain questions of my own. One is why you are always telling that lose weight. Everybody says lose weight, but in my practice, what I do is some certain people needs to gain weight also. The healthy weight gain, healthy weight maintenance, and reshaping. This is all that this is necessary. I have seen several of my friends after losing this weight and semi-starving and keto, they are looking as very old people. Suddenly, within 3 months, they are wrinkles are there. Within 3 months, they have even microscopic wrinkles. Their color becomes dim. So one is healthy. You can increase the muscle mass. You can have a targeted fat loss. These things are possible. Targeted fat loss. Still, the weight remains the same. Or there can be some healthy weight gain when that person is somebody like a mesomorph. You cannot make that person slim, and then everybody says weight loss. So what I say is healthy weight gain is also necessary, and make low fitness is one problem which usually we see. So fit and fat is acceptable. Your opinion?
I 100% agree with what you said, sir. Let me add on to what you said, Dr. Santosh Babu. Actually, we never mean lose weight. We actually, the concept. India has become the capital of diabetes and the obesity, in the sense that we may look thin, but our body fat is pretty high. And then this is where the problem comes. So, and majority, now we have come away from a stage of starvation. Now the majority, the messages sometimes get distorted and then are misused in different contexts. The majority should still lose weight. There is a minor group who should be gaining weight, but you gain weight by the normal method. You are going to gain fat more than protein. You need to gain weight with the proper nutrition. What you eat has to be like a balanced food, and then there has to be enough resistance training in your diet and all that. And another point is the weight loss is a very bad thing if you are going to do with the bad way. Keto diet is the worst thing, I would say, unless for a medical reason like seizures or something, is the worst thing to do. There is enough studies, and because I may not be a qualified physician, I am basically a pediatrician neonatologist. I have been seriously following. I can quote the studies for the last 17 years from the time I got impressed with Dean Ornish. I have been seriously this thing. So I can quote enough this thing. So body fat is the villain. And most of the time, how do you know what is your body fat? It's a way to lose weight. And those who have, now Joni sir will vouch for this, those who have diabetes, hypertension, or cardiac disease, you ask them to lose weight, they go off medication. So generally, it is a general term. Please don't misunderstand me. I am not against a healthy weight loss. I am not against but when you say most of us have more fat than what you require, you can't say lose fat. How do you lose fat? So you lose weight, you will add on. That's why we say add on weight training, then you will not lose fat alone.
Along with the training, you have to address sarcopenia.
That is what exactly. So that is why just the exercise to most of us mean cardio, running, cycling. Weight training, strength training, and flexibility training. You should incorporate that. But of course, easy for everybody to say. To start the program, we need cardio. Cardio is the way. Cardio is the most thing. Have a group, aerobic group, Zumba, and all. People get motivated. But if you stop at that, just stop at running, then there is a problem. Then you have sarcopenia, as you rightly said. You need to have, until you have resistance training, you cannot prevent this sarcopenia when you lose weight. Totally agree, Dr. Santosh Babu.
Can I have Manoj?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Please.
Excellent presentations everyone has. And compliments to Manoj and Pooja.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Madam is my teacher, pediatric teacher.
And regarding this plan, fruits and vegetables, I think it is better that if you have it at home, make it at home, your own vegetable garden, kitchen garden, even in terrace, you can have it. That I usually take fruits and vegetables from my own place. I make it a point to have it like that only. And I cut the fruits myself. It's always better than no.
Great.
And regarding this, I have a question to Dr. Johnny. This LDL cholesterol, or is the ratio of LDL-HDL ratio, which is more significant?
I would say this LDL-HDL ratio is more significant because the productive effect of HDL also comes there. In fact, we are, it's not only really the numbers of the smallest LDL is the real thing, which is now not very easy to directly measure, but the indirect science are there, indirect ways of.
No, I didn't get you.
See, if the LDL has two components, the large buoyant LDL as well as small dense LDL. It is the oxidized small dense LDL that causes the havoc, whereas the large buoyant LDL is not, may not be. So it is the LDL alone is equivalent to great value. So HDL also is important in that aspect. Your question is second part is correct. And again, I must also tell you to the whole people this, that it is, if you are very good in dietary measures, very good in exercise, still genetics are very important. There are people who are genetically prone, and despite all the best of measures, you see people dying in the 40s, 50s, or 60s. So, at about 10 or 20% of people, genetics plays a major role, and we are yet to unravel the facts about it. So you find many cardiologists dying, even great fitness trainers dying. Genetics is the area where there may come a day where you know how to control your genes also. So till then, every types of problems, every bizarre things will be happening.
No, so can I add on? Somebody asked me a question. Which are the things, diet items which increase the HDL cholesterol? Somebody had asked me. Is it nuts?
Actually, this is from what my answer will be. HDL by diet alone, I don't think that we can improve much. Exercise improves it maybe by 5 to 10%, but the quality of HDL goes up. The quality of LDL also improves by exercise. But I don't know about any particular diet increasing HDL to a great extent. There are anecdotal studies or even experience sharing, but it may not be as it is.
Sir, can I add on something to the genetic part? Genes, it's all in your genes. This is the excuse that we make most of the time. But now we live in the era of epigenetics. You can control your genes. After the Human Genome Project in the 20th century, in 2007, we had the Human Microbiome Project. We now know that of the 3 million genes that we have, only 25,000 are our genes. Rest belong to them, our guests, the microbiota. And we get a healthy microbiota, we change our genes. And that is the basic, that is how things are evolving. So if you can, and that is again one point in favor of plant-based nutrition, get the good microbes. The good microbes want them. So probably there are a lot of things, fascinating things out there, which are all studies still. So they are not general recommendations. So don't blame everything on your genes at all. We can do our part. You eat healthy and exercise definitely will change your genes. It is literally happening, especially now the epigenetics. It's not a generation, the same generation. Just a simple example is that study, the monozygous twin rats, one given antibiotic as a puppy, given antibiotic, the other one not given antibiotic, both fed the same thing. The one that is given antibiotic grows fat, the other one is remaining lean and lives longer. So the genes are not totally uncontrollable. We can control our genes.
That may be the future. Yes. Is the Dr. Shivashankaran there in the crowd? Is a person with great knowledge about diet, genes, biochemistry, everything. Dr. Shivashankaran, are you there?
He was there initially, so I don't see him now.
ഞാനേ ശിവശങ്കരൻ സാറിന്റെ ടോക്കിന്റെ ലിങ്ക് പറ്റുമെങ്കിൽ അയച്ചു തരാം കേട്ടോ. 2 മിനിറ്റിൽ അടിപൊളിയാണ് അല്ലേ സാർ? ശിവശങ്കരൻ സാർ is like Dr. Manoj in fitness. He is into nutrition very much.
The key things he says about the 5 white poisons, especially the salt, and because salt is something not there in our food about maybe 6 or 7 centuries ago. Maybe it was a precious thing. Then the sugar, white sugar, and also the need to stress on the to avoiding the processed food and including all types of dietary fiber, soluble and insoluble. This is my
good evening. Good evening. I'm very happy to hear this session, and I am very well here. In fact, there are certain important decades in preventive cardiology. In 1950s, when Donald Hill showed that smoking is injurious to health, and next was 1990s when for the first time cholesterol lowering was shown to improve the lifespan, and more important, the entire things got rearranged. What is the importance of risk factors? Some thought that hypertension is important, somebody thought that blood pressure is important, somebody thought that cholesterol is important, somebody thought that obesity is important. But the next important thing in 1994 was that they really could classify the risk factors which leads to premature death. And the number one is smoking, next is obesity. One of the second commonest way by human beings commit suicide is becoming obese. What is this? Obesity is extremely important. Our body muscle mass should be around 40 to 45%, but our body fat should be around 10 to 12%. For males, and for about a pregnancy, it should not exceed 25%. When it exceeds 20%, actually that is how the BMI fooled us. Actually, we should go for a healthy obesity that is more important, that is well stressed. And more important, that the concept of junk food came in. Anything that is rich in calories, salt, sugar, fat, and oil essentially leads to a lot of problems for our body. And this concept of junk food was put forward in 1950s, then rearranged in 1970s. Now, FSSAI has categorically said that junk food should not be sold to children. So if you look at the junk food index of many of our food items, it just cannot be given to our children. So the main essence should be that we should avoid salt, sugar, and fat from the time of weaning. Breast milk is the best thing, but when you start weaning, we should not expose them to industry-driven products which are sold only with the intention of profit. So we need to work against this, and weaning is the best time. If the children avoid developing the taste for sugar and fat, is extremely good. That is what we need to work for in your neonatology forum. And so thankful to Johnny for calling me into this discussion. I think, Madam, we would have had many interactions in the previous sessions, and I would like to continue to contribute to the session. Thanks, Johnny, for sending me the link in right time.
Thank you for joining, sir.
സാർ ഞാൻ ഒരു അഭിപ്രായം പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ സാർ. ഡോക്ടർ ഗോപാലകൃഷ്ണൻ പൈ.
യെസ് സർ, പ്ലീസ് ഗോ അഹെഡ് സർ.
എല്ലാ ഡോക്ടർമാർക്കും പലർക്കും സ്ട്രെസ് പ്രൊഫഷണൽ സ്ട്രെസ് വളരെ കൂടുതലാണ്. ഇത് വളരെ നാശത്തിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുപോകും. എന്താണ് കമന്റ്സ്?
100% agree, sir. Others, Prashant, Joni sir.
Yeah, but see, here again, I have a slightly different view. Stress is something is a stimulant for us to perform to a moderate level. It goes to extremely high levels. Otherwise it is counterproductive. I think we are any human, not only human, any organism, a bacteria is in a stress in the life to live, to reproduce, to multiply. So if everybody is fighting for their own life and their stress. I think stress we cannot avoid. It's always a beautiful sentence that just be stressful. I don't know how to be stressful. If my genes are like that, I'll be always on my toes. If my genes are on the opposite side, I'll be very relaxed. I don't think that we have any control. Of course, you can have meditation, plan your day, plan yourself, plan your day, plan your family. These are good things. But I don't think that we cannot do away with the stress. Stress should be there. That is my feeling. I am sorry for being slightly on the other side.
No, sir, you are perfectly on track. This is the slide I showed. So you need to be on the right side of stress. What actually sir meant was, we are always here. We need to come down here to this level. Doctors are never in this level, in the good thing. They are always extra stress, and that is leading us to death. That is probably in the IMA study, the mortality study also the same thing, I think, sir. So same point.
ഈ വേറൊരു കാര്യം കൂടെ, യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ സ്ട്രെസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സംഭവം, സ്ട്രെസ് ഓർ ടെൻഷൻ arises from fear and the fear arises from ignorance എന്നാണ്. Actually, there are different schools of thought. പക്ഷേ ഈ സ്ട്രെസ് എന്നല്ല ഒന്നും നമ്മളെ ഭരിക്കാൻ വിട്ടുകൊടുക്കുക. എപ്പോഴും കുറച്ചുകൂടി കൂളാകണമെങ്കിൽ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട വഴി എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഞാൻ ചില ആൾക്കാരോടൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കാൻ വെച്ചാൽ, ഒരു മുറിയിൽ നിറച്ച് ഇരുട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ 10 CATക്കാരെ വിളിച്ചിട്ട് ഈ ഇരുട്ടിലേക്ക് ചുമന്നെടുത്ത് വെടി കളയാൻ പറഞ്ഞാൽ പറ്റുമോ? നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യം. പക്ഷെ ആ മുറിയിൽ ഒരു ലൈറ്റ് ഇട്ട് നോക്കൂ, ആ ഇരുട്ടങ്ങ് മാറി, അല്ലേ? അതുപോലെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ മനസ്സ്, ജോണി സാറ് പറഞ്ഞത് വളരെ പെർഫെക്റ്റ് ഒരു സൈഡാണെങ്കിൽ, ഇപ്പൊ എന്റെ കുഞ്ഞു പോലും നമ്മളിപ്പോ പറയും ശകലം ടെൻഷൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലേ പരീക്ഷയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടി അവർ പഠിക്കുള്ളൂ. അപ്പൊ ടെൻഷൻ നല്ലതാണ്, കറ നല്ലതാണ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പോലെ കുറച്ച് ടെൻഷൻ നല്ലതാണ്. പക്ഷെ ടെൻഷനിൽ ജീവിക്കുന്നത് നല്ലതല്ല. ആഹാരം കഴിക്കുന്നത് നല്ലതാണെന്ന് പറയുന്ന പോലെയാണ്, പക്ഷെ ആഹാരത്തിൽ ജീവിക്കുന്നത് നല്ലതേ അല്ല. അപ്പം തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നമുക്കൊരു സ്ട്രെസ്, വർക്ക് സ്ട്രെസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ജീവിതത്തിലെ സ്ട്രെസ്സിന്റെ ഒരു ബാലൻസ് വേണം. നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും ചെയ്യണത് നമുക്ക് എന്തില്ല എന്നോർത്താണ് ആദ്യം പിടിക്കുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് എന്തുണ്ടെന്ന് ചിന്തിക്കുന്നതേ ഇല്ല. And so even when we look at a mirror, we often see the weak outer husk of ourselves. നമ്മളെ കുറവ് എന്താണ്, നമ്മൾ നല്ലത് എന്തെന്ന് നമ്മളൊന്ന് ചിന്തിച്ചു തുടങ്ങുക. ഒന്ന്. രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഏറ്റവും സംഭവം എന്താണെന്നറിയോ, നാളെ നമ്മൾ ഈ നിമിഷം മുതൽ ആക്ച്വലി സ്ട്രെസ് ഫ്രീ ലൈഫിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും രസമുള്ള ഒരു ഘടകം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ, യു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് again you start appreciating people. നിങ്ങൾ മറ്റൊരാളെ അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ഒരു ഏറ്റവും രസമുള്ള സാധനം വെച്ചാൽ, ഒന്ന് ഒരാളെ നമ്മുടെ IMAയുടെ ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് സ്കീം എന്താണ്? PPS അല്ലേ? അത് മറക്കാതിരുന്നാൽ മതി. ഓൾവേസ് ബി പ്ലസന്റ്, ഓൾവേസ് ബി പോസിറ്റീവ് ആൻഡ് കീപ് സ്മൈലിംഗ്. എന്താ PPS? അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്ലസന്റ് ആവുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ, ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ബീങ് ഹാപ്പി. നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും തുള്ളിച്ചാടി നടക്കാൻ പറ്റൂല. ആൻഡ് നമ്മൾ ദുഃഖിച്ചു കിടക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. ബട്ട് വി ക്യാൻ റിമെയിൻ പ്ലസന്റ് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ പോസിറ്റീവ്. നമ്മൾ ഈ കോടതിയിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലീസ് കേസ് അന്വേഷിക്കുന്ന പോലെയാണ്. ഓരോ കേസും അന്വേഷിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും നമുക്ക് ഒരു തെളിവ് പ്രതി അവശേഷിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും എന്നുള്ള ചിന്തയാണല്ലോ നമ്മളെ മുന്നോട്ട് നയിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കുമ്പോഴും എന്തോ നല്ലതിനാണ് എന്നൊരു ചിന്തയിൽ അത് നല്ലത് എന്തിനാണ് എന്ന് കണ്ടെത്താനും നമുക്ക് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വളരെ സിമ്പിളാണ്. ഹൂ മൂവ്ഡ് മൈ ചീസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു ബുക്കുണ്ട്. ഹൂ മൂവ്ഡ് മൈ ചീസ്, വേൾഡ്സ് റിയൽ ബെസ്റ്റ് സെല്ലർ. നമ്മളെ ഒരാൾ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്ത് ഞാൻ അവന് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കും. എന്ത് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കാനാ? അതിനുശേഷം അതിനെക്കാട്ടി നല്ലത് നമ്മളെ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്ത് അവിടെ പോയി എനിക്ക് എന്തോ നല്ലൊരു റോള് പ്ലേ ചെയ്യാനുണ്ടെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കി യു മൂവ് വിത്ത് ദ ചേഞ്ച്, കീപ് മൂവിങ്. നമ്മുടെ ഡോക്ടർ മനോജ് എപ്പോഴും പറയുന്ന പോലെ കീപ് മൂവിങ്, അതിൽ കയറി ഇരിക്കാതെ അവിടുന്ന് ഓടുക. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ദ ഫൈനൽ തിങ് ഈസ് ഓൾവേസ് സ്മൈൽ. ആൻഡ് ഓൾവേസ് നമ്മൾ ഒരു പുഞ്ചിരി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ നമ്മളെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ. മഞ്ഞള സാറിനെ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചാൽ മഞ്ഞള സാർ എപ്പോഴും ചെയ്യും. അപ്പൊ അതുപോലെ ഒന്ന് ചിരിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജീവിതം നല്ല ഭംഗിയുള്ളതാണ്. പിന്നെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം പണം അന്വേഷിച്ചാണ് എല്ലാവരും നടക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ താജ് ഹോട്ടലിൽ പോയി ഭക്ഷണം, താജിൽ 5 സ്റ്റാറിൽ പോയി ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചാൽ പോലും ഒരു 1500-2000 രൂപ കൂടുതൽ ഒരാൾക്ക് ആവാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പൊ പിന്നെ എത്ര പൈസ വേണം നമുക്ക് ജീവിക്കാൻ? സോ നല്ല ഭംഗിയായിട്ട് സന്തോഷത്തോടെ അങ്ങ് ജീവിക്കുക. സ്ട്രെസ്സിനെ തള്ളി മാറ്റാൻ നോക്കണ്ട, സ്ട്രെസ് തനിയേ പോയിക്കോ.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant. We have an expert on stress, rather well-known name, Dr. Smita. She wrote a comment also. Dr. Smita, you want to say anything? She written, we need to learn to be aware of stress and how to handle it actually.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Manoj. Yes, there was a study regarding the stress levels of doctors and it was quite high. So we need to be aware of the fact that, of course, we lead a stressful life due to various factors. ഇപ്പോൾ COVID-19 വന്നപ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഏറ്റവും അധികം ബേർഡനും റിസ്കും ഒക്കെ എടുക്കേണ്ടി വന്നത് യങ് ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് ആണ്. So that is a fact. We should not be shying away from the fact that we are not stressed. We are. But we cannot remove all stresses from our life. True, as Dr. Johnny and everybody said, we cannot remove. But we need to learn to cope with the stress and learn several stress management techniques. ഇപ്പം പ്രശാന്ത് സാർ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നമ്മുടെ ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷനെ മാറ്റുക, നമ്മുടെ അപ്രൈസൽ മാറ്റുക. ഒരു സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ആയാൽ മേ ബി ദർ ഇസ് സംതിങ് ഗുഡ് വെയിറ്റിംഗ് ദർ. നമ്മുടെ ആ ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ ഫാക്ട്സിനെ മാറ്റുക, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് വൺ തിങ്. ബോഡിലി സ്ട്രെസ്സസ് മാറ്റാൻ ഈവൻ ടേക്കിംഗ് adequate amount of water and adequate amount of sleep are good stress busters. പക്ഷെ പലപ്പോഴും ഡോക്ടേഴ്സിന് ഒരു 6 hours 7 hours ഒന്നും ഉറങ്ങാൻ സാധിക്കാറില്ല എന്നുള്ളതും ഒരു ഫാക്ട് ആണ്. സോ കളക്റ്റീവ്ലി IMA ഷുഡ് വർക്ക് ഓൾസോ ഓൺ ദാറ്റ്, ഹൗ വി ക്യാൻ റെഡ്യൂസ് ദ വർക്ക്, വി ക്യാൻ മേക്ക് ദ വർക്ക് എൻവയൺമെന്റ് ഓൾസോ ലെസ് സ്ട്രെസ്ഫുൾ. ഇൻ ദ സെൻസ് OPയിൽ നമുക്ക് 60 പേഷ്യൻസ് വരുന്നത് 60 പേഷ്യൻസ് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുമോ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യവും കൂടെ നമ്മൾ നോക്കിയിട്ട് എത്ര പേഷ്യൻസിന് ഓപ്റ്റിമം ലെവൽ നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളും കൂടെ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുവാണെങ്കിൽ വളരെ നല്ലതാണ്. Along with that, personal methods and of course, as you said, exercise, diet, all these help to reduce the stress in a lot way. Thank you, Dr. Manoj and everybody.
ഹലോ, ഇതിലെ സ്ട്രെസ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇത്രയേ ഉള്ളൂ. സംഭവിക്കുന്നതും സംഭവിക്കാനിരിക്കുന്നതും എല്ലാം നല്ലതിനെന്ന് ചിന്തിച്ചാൽ മതി. ഞാൻ അതുപോലെ മാനേജ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വി ഡോണ്ട് റൺ ആഫ്റ്റർ അവർ പ്രോബ്ലംസ്. That it have its own path. We'll see it in a positive way. വെറുതെ പറയല്ല, I am managing it successfully for the last 15 to 20 years. ചുമ്മാ പറയണതല്ല, എന്നെ പേഴ്സണലായിട്ട് അറിയുന്നവർക്ക് അതറിയാം. I had many tragedies in my life. I never wept after, run after that. That it happened beyond our control. No problem. But I will have my way of living a stress-free life. That is why I could smile only. Otherwise, I should have been no more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything?
If there are no more comments,
Dr. Ravi, you want to tell something?
Any hormonal imbalances causes to the weight gain, hormonal imbalances, endocrine. Hello.
Who want to take up the question?
If anybody taken the hormonal imbalances, endocrinology, due to the hormone imbalances, we can get weight loss, weight gain.
Definitely. Anybody? I can give my view on it. I'm not. So I'm just any endocrinologists in this group.
Dr. Bobby undaയിരുന്നില്ലേ?
And genetic also, because some families you haven't go they'll be same weight, all having same weight, high obesity, or is it due to genetic or endocrine imbalances? Obesity due
It has
to
to be seen in wholesome. Since somebody is answering, and just let me give my point of view. It has to be seen in wholesome. Actually, any hormone, anything that if there is something wrong with our basic milieu, it is definitely going to affect us. And stress, just like we are talking about stress, this is also another factor. So, if we are looking at the pillars of lifestyle medicine, definitely. This is again another aspect which is again going to contribute to imperfect lifestyle and then weight gain. Definitely, it has to lead to weight gain.
The microbiome.
What is saying?
One question to Pooja. Before, the strength training is what the more focus is. So the cardio, should we warm our body before doing the weight training? Like after, should it be after a Zumba or after a short run or something, or can we just directly start? One day cardio, one day weight training. Is it okay with that, or any other?
Yes, that can be done, and always there has to be a warm up. Warm up can be in many ways. Like you can start with a lower weight dumbbell, or you can just start with a body weight squats or something and do a warm up. Or you can do some running or walking can be a warm up. Cycling can be a warm up. 5 to 10 minutes of warm up before any activity is important. And one day cardio, one day weight is okay. That is a beginner schedule. Like if you become 6 months, one year into regular workout, then you can proceed to upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, along with some cardio. And then again, like you can take one body part and do a 5-day workout. That also can be two body parts, weight training, 5 days a week.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Pooja.
There is a very important message from Dr. Prashant in the chat box. So over to Joy sir, if there are no more comments or discussion.
Prashant, can you read it yourself?
വേറൊന്നുമില്ല സാർ, നല്ലൊരു വേർഡാണ് സാർ. ജീവിതത്തില് നമ്മൾ ആക്ച്വലി ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം, ഞാൻ സ്മിതയോടാണ് കടപ്പെട്ടത്, സ്മിതയാണ് ആ വാക്ക് പറഞ്ഞത് ഓർപ്പിച്ചത്. ബീയിങ് അവെയർ ഈസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് സാർ. നമ്മൾ ഈ സന്തോഷ് ബാബു സാർ സമ്മതിക്കും. കാരണം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ ഈ വീട്ടിനകത്ത് നടക്കുമ്പോഴൊക്കെ അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും പോകുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ജോയിന്റിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മളെ ഈ മൂവ്മെന്റ്സ് എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ അറിഞ്ഞ് ചെയ്യണം. അശ്രദ്ധമായ ചലനങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ ജീവിതത്തിൽ അപകടങ്ങളിലേക്ക് എത്തിയത്. ഇനി നമ്മെയും നമ്മെക്കുറിച്ചും വി മസ്റ്റ് ബി അവെയർ ഓഫ് അവർ സെൽഫ് ബ്രസ്റ്റ് എക്സാമിനേഷൻ എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നില്ലേ സാർ? ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മൾ ക്യാൻസർ പ്രിവെൻഷനിൽ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഓരോ ദിവസവും ഒരുപാട് മെനി വിമൻ ആർ ഡൈയിങ് ഓഫ് ബ്രസ്റ്റ് ക്യാൻസർ. പക്ഷെ ഇഫ് യു ആർ അവെയർ ഓഫ് അവർ ബ്രസ്റ്റ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് സെൽഫ് ബ്രസ്റ്റ് എക്സാമിനേഷൻ. Being aware of our body and mind, and it ultimately leads to my, this position statement, like the most important lesson that we must learn in our life is being aware of ourselves every minute. നീ ഒന്നുമില്ല, കഴിക്കുമ്പം പോലും ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. നമ്മൾ വളരെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്ന ഒരു ടേക്ക് ഹോം മെസ്സേജ് ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പറയാം. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഒന്ന് അറിഞ്ഞ് കഴിച്ചാൽ, അതിന് എനിക്ക് പറ്റിയ ഒരു അബദ്ധം കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്. ഞാൻ 1 മിനിറ്റ് എടുത്ത് പറയാം. ഞാൻ ഈ നമ്മുടെ ആരോഗ്യ മാസികയുടെ ചീഫ് എഡിറ്റർ ആയിരുന്നപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ സാക്ഷാൽ MS വല്യത്തൻ സാറിന്, ഞാൻ മഞ്ഞൾ സാറിനോട് പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ വല്യത്തൻ സാറിനെ ഇന്ന് വിളിക്കാന്ന്, വല്യത്തൻ സാർ വരാനാണ് പ്രയാസം. ഡോക്ടർ MS വല്യത്തൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ പത്മശ്രീയും പത്മഭൂഷണും പത്മവിഭൂഷണും കിട്ടിയ ഏക മലയാളിയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ഒരു ഡോക്ടറാണെന്നുള്ളതിൽ നമുക്ക് അഭിമാനമുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ 83ാമത്തെ വയസ്സിൽ ഞാൻ ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ചെയ്തു, വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു 2 മണിക്കൂർ നീണ്ട ഞാൻ ഇന്റർവ്യൂ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഷെയർ ചെയ്ത് തരാം. ആ ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ചെയ്ത് തീർന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ സാറിനോട് പറഞ്ഞു, മസ്കറ്റ് ഹോട്ടലിലായിരുന്നു ഇന്റർവ്യൂ. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, സാറേ ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കാമോ? അപ്പൊ സാർ ഉടനെ ചോദിച്ചു, പ്രശാന്തേ, ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ പിന്നെ എൻ്റെ റിലേറ്റീവിന്റെ വീട്ടിലാണ് വന്ന് നിന്നത്. അവര് കഞ്ഞിയും പയറും വെച്ച് കഞ്ഞി വെച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഞാൻ കഞ്ഞി വെച്ച് വെക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ അത് പോയി കഴിച്ചോട്ടെ. ഞാൻ ഇത്രയും വിപ്ലവം പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് മസ്കറ്റ് ഹോട്ടലിലെ ഡിന്നറിന് ഞാൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നത് ശരിയാണോ? അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു ശരി സാർ, പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ ഫുഡ് ഓർഡർ ചെയ്ത് പോയി, ഒരു കപ്പ് ചായയെങ്കിലും കുടിച്ചിട്ട് പിരിയാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ ഞാനും എന്റെ സ്റ്റാഫ് റിപ്പോർട്ടറും സാറ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഞാൻ ഹോസ്റ്റ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ വലിയ കാര്യത്തിൽ കയറി ഇരുന്നിട്ട് ഒരു തള്ളു. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ എന്താ അറിയോ, 3 ചായ 1 വിത്തൗട്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. 3 ചായ 1 വിത്തൗട്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ സാർ ഉടനെ എന്നോട് ചോദിച്ചു, പ്രശാന്ത് ആർക്കാ വിത്തൗട്ട്? പ്രശാന്തിനാണോ? ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു സാറിന് 84 വയസ്സുണ്ട്, ഷുഗർ കാണൂലേ, ഡയബറ്റീസ് കാണൂലേ, ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞ് ചെയ്യണ്ടേ? ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു ഇറ്റ്സ് ഫോർ യു. അപ്പൊ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞു എനിക്ക് ഡയബറ്റീസ് ഇല്ല. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു ഹാർട്ട് ഉണ്ട്, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. ബി പി ഉണ്ട്, നോർമൽ ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു സാർ, ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ഇസ് നോട്ട് ഓവർ ബിക്കോസ് ഐ ഹാവ് നെവർ ആസ്ക്ഡ് ഈ കൺവെൻഷണൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നും. 83-ാം വയസ്സിൽ അങ്ങയുടെ ആരോഗ്യമൊന്നും ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചില്ല. ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു സാറിന് എന്താ ഇതുവരെ ഡയബറ്റീസ് വരാത്തത്? സാറിന് എന്താ ഇതുവരെ ഹൈപ്പർ ടെൻഷൻ വരാത്തത്? വൈ യു ആർ നോട്ട് ഓൺ മെഡിസിൻ ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പൊ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ ഉത്തരമാണ്, പ്രശാന്തി ഞാൻ എല്ലാം കഴിക്കും, പക്ഷെ അറിഞ്ഞ് കഴിക്കുമെന്ന്. സോ കണ്ടറിഞ്ഞ്, രുചി അറിഞ്ഞ്, മനസ്സറിഞ്ഞ്, വയററിഞ്ഞ് കഴിച്ചാലുണ്ടല്ലോ, കുറച്ച് കഴിക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ ശരിക്കും നമ്മളെ മനസ്സ് നിറയും, ശരീരത്തിന് ആവശ്യമുള്ള ന്യൂട്രീഷനുമാവും. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.
ആരുമില്ലാന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. Anybody is there?
No, so I think we can wind up.
Wind up. It's already 2 hours, past 2 hours.
Yeah.
So now I invite Dr. Joseph George, Secretary.
Sir,
IMA.
this is Sharmila. Sir, can I say a word, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just remembering some 15 years back or so, when I used to go to gym, and Pooja was my trainer, actually. Remember Pooja, those days?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, then I didn't know anything about workouts actually, and then you only taught me how to do it properly, in a proper way, how to keep your hands while doing the stretches and all. And I was wondering, I didn't know. Then I thought I had read somewhere that stretching has to be done before an exercise. And I asked you whether it shouldn't be done before an exercise, and you told me no, stretching has to be done after the exercise. That is the best thing to do. And I was just remembering that incident, and still I remember the way you told me and how you, what do you say, monitored all the things I did. A very huge thank you to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sharmila. Definitely. You are welcome.
I am nearly 80s now. പഠിക്കുന്ന കാലത്ത്, that is 1965, when I was in cricket team, I used to run 6 rounds against the football ground. But what is the ideal exercise for me? I am doing a daily walk, morning walk, about 3 kilometers at a normal pace. No, I cannot speed up, I cannot slow, normal pace I work. So what is your advice to me?
So you can add some strength training to your routine. Maybe every day 20 minutes to start with, to begin with. Start with body weight strength training.
അല്ല, ഈ പ്രായത്തിൽ തുടങ്ങാമോ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ പ്രശ്നം. അതാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്. ഇതേവരെ ചെയ്യാതിരുന്നത് ഇപ്പൊ ചെയ്യാമോ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
Yes, so that is what it is shown. Like people starting at any age, they will benefit with strength training. You can start with simple exercises, body weight exercises to begin with, and you can add weights. You can add 1 kg, 2 kg, progressive weight training you can do, but probably some guidance is required. That will be definitely beneficial.
Sir, we keep seeing some of these 90 plus weightlifters. They are exception, they are not the rule, but they should be the inspiration. The problem is that we need not, we should know our body, and the correct word Prashant said, mindfulness. That is true in fitness also. You should know your limits, but you need to challenge yourself. What you do today, you should challenge tomorrow. And it should be, if you get a sports injury, you are going back 2 years back. സോ അതുകൊണ്ട് വളരെ കെയർഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് വേണം ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട്. ബട്ട് ഐ തിങ്ക് ആഡിങ് വെയിറ്റ് ട്രെയിനിങ് ഈസ് എ വേ ടു ഗോ അറൌണ്ട് ആഫ്റ്റർ 60s and 70s. ഓടിയില്ലെങ്കിലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല, ഇത് കാർഡിയോ ഇല്ലെങ്കിലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല. വെയിറ്റ് ട്രെയിനിങ്, യോഗ, ഫ്ലെക്സിബിലിറ്റി, യോഗ, പിലാറ്റെ, എന്തെങ്കിലും. ദീസ് ആർ ദ 2 things that are going to help us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Nijil K. Matthew is the president of IMA Nedumbasheri. That is the branch in Muscat, Oman. He has put on some comments on the chat box. A thought to remember: a diamond is just a piece of charcoal that handles stress exceptionally well.
Great, nice comment. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
He has joined from Muscat.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Anybody else? So let us wind up. Now I invite Dr. Joseph George, Secretary, IMA Thrissur, for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Dr. Joseph.
I take this opportunity to thank IMA Thrissur with association with IAP Thrissur, Cardiology Society of India, Kerala chapter and NNF for the observance and launching today's program on online platform. I thank Dr. Rakesh, President IAP, for the welcome speech. I thank Dr. P. Gopikumar, State Senior Vice President, for the inauguration and official launch of the program. I thank Dr. Johnny Joseph, IPP, Cardiological Society of India, Kerala chapter, for the very interesting CME on metabolic and cardiac risk in obesity. It was very informative also. Talk on visceral obesity was good. I thank Dr. V.C. Manoj for the talk on the current concepts in the prevention of lifestyle disease, which is lifestyle medicine. I really thank Mrs. Pooja Manoj for the discussion on choose to lose. I thank the third speaker, Dr. Prashant CV, Public Awareness Community, IMA Kerala. Your smiling speech gave a big tiricharavu about hot beverages. I also thank Dr. Shankar sir. Finally, I thank all the participants for taking part in this program, and sure that they will all practice lifestyle medicine. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. നമുക്ക് ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യാലോ അല്ലേ?
Yes, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, sir. Thank
nice
you.
to see you again.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Good
joining.
night. Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.